Live Historical Butlins Video Museum. Okay, 2023.
And rarely attended. As the threat of war increased, some advanced preparations had been made. The resident agent, Captain Whitmore, seen here with dog and staff between the wars, prepared accommodation for 150 evacuees, mothers and children. However, the evacuees who arrived were 150 schoolboys and their masters. They were billeted with difficulty and proved something of a problem. In the period following the fall of France, the main military preoccupation was with the anticipated German invasion of our shores, Operation Sealand. Local defence committees were formed and preparations for the invasion began. Beaulieu was a nodal point to defend the main road and the head of the estuary. Boats were removed from the river and various points at the head of the estuary were reinforced. The Mangle House, now the studio, became a reinforced gun point commanding the bridge. The dairy next to the mill house and the mill itself also became reinforced pillboxes with a commanding field of fire over the head of the estuary. Padlock holes in the walls of the Abbey precincts were cleaned out to provide observation and firing points for the Home Guards shotguns. As fear of imminent invasion diminished, a more positive attitude prevailed, and the Beaulieu estate became embroiled in plans for the return to France and the turning of the tides of war. From the beginning of 1941 onward, 11 large houses on the Beaulieu estate were requisitioned by the military to serve as training centres for the Special Operations Executive, who are commemorated today by a plaque in the cloisters of Beaulieu. The Rings, since demolished, was used by the SOE as its main office and training headquarters, as well as a finishing school. The vineyards provided training in elementary wireless and telegraphy, and the majority of the agents stationed there were French. Warren, now Blackwater House, taught microphotography and also served as a general finishing school, while Bournemans was used as a finishing school for women agents. The house on the shore gave training in small arms and explosives, and the keyboard still shows a space for the explosives store.
Wow.
In these and other houses, agents underwent intensive 3-week courses, which were the climax of their training, before they were taken by air and sea to a variety of occupied countries. Beaulieu Airfield provided a departure point for Lysander aircraft capable of landing at night on rough temporary landing strips. Among the well-known agents to receive their training here were Hardy Amis and Kim Philby.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the rest of the Beaulieu estate played a variety of roles. Much of our information for this period comes from the memoirs of Captain Whitmore, our long-serving land agent, who developed the habit of making intermittent coded entries in his diary. The farmers' work was controlled by the Hampshire War Agricultural Executive Committee. This committee advised which crops were to be produced in a determined effort to feed an island nation at war. The farmers were assisted in their work by the Land Army. In Beaulieu, 20 land girls arrived, mainly townies from Nottingham, with no previous experience of rural life.
Aye, woman
They
power.
were billeted in the dockhouse and, to quote Walt Ellsworth, a local resident, added a further dimension to village life. Butlins Village was requisitioned for the use of workers who were constructing sections of the Mulberry Harbour at Club Copse on the Beaulieu River.
Wow.
Among the many items built here were large concrete barges and caissons which were to serve as floats for the roadways of the Mulberry. The most massive construction, built in the old oyster beds, was a floating dock. When the riverbanks were breached to float it out, the Admiralty's contractors requisitioned the estate harbour master, Mr. Downer, to pilot the monster out of the river. Upstream, at Baylis Hard, husband's shipbuilders were fitting out acoustic minesweepers.
Wow, amazing.
Meanwhile, deception units operating in the area constructed wing boats. These were fake landing craft built of canvas and steel tubing and floating on 40-gallon oil drums, which were built overnight and towed out onto the Beulah River to deceive aerial reconnaissance about the size of the forces being assembled. While these military preparations were in hand, the village was also involved in the general war effort. Newly Warship Week, the New Forest Spitfire campaign, war savings bonds, the activities were endless.
Etc., etc.
In the period leading up to D-Day, Neville Shute, the author, could be found at the mouth of the river experimenting with the Swallow, a rocket-powered, radio-controlled, pilotless aircraft, and also with the development of rocket landing craft designed to bombard the beaches before the D-Day invasion. In his diary for the 6th of April 1944, the young Lord Montagu wrote, "Bicycled down to the marsh and had a marvellous time. Saw the radio-controlled smoke-laying rocket plane, which was thrilling." As D-Day approached, the woodlands of the Beulah estate filled up with thousands of soldiers who were to form part of the invasion.
GIs.
These comprised American and Canadian units and battle-hardened units of the British 8th Army, brought home after the successful desert campaign against Rommel and his Africa Corps. Exbury House, on the east bank of the Beulah River, became HMS Mastodon, the command centre for the developing naval activity in the area, and the Montagu Arms Hotel was requisitioned to house the increasing number of Wrens who operated supply boats on the river and helped with administration. The shoreline at Butlins Hard was the base for motor torpedo boats and motor gunboats, which came and went across the Solent to form part of
Amazing.
our defensive shield against the fast German guns and submarines. As D-Day and the start of Operation Overlord approached, the Beulah River filled up with landing craft of all kinds. These included gun landing craft, flagships, rocket landing craft capable of firing over 1,000 rockets in a single salvo,
Remarkable.
tank and infantry landing craft, while LCMs, landing craft, and VLDs, vehicle landing barges, maintained and resupplied the larger vessels. The vessels moored here in turn moved to Leap Beach, where they loaded men and supplies before beginning the anxious wait for Overlord to be launched.
Aye, Overlord.
Meanwhile, a temporary airstrip was laid on the southern shore of the estate at Park Farm. This was to be used by Typhoons of the RAF, which were to provide close air support to the troops as they advanced from the D-Day beachheads.
Spitfire.
Finally, at dawn on Tuesday the 6th of June 1944, the first assault troops landed on the beaches at Northern. Operation Overlord had begun, and the vital Mulberry harbours were installed offshore to handle the massive influx of men and supplies. As Allied troops gained a firm foothold in Normandy, war pressures on the estate decreased. There was a minor scare in July 1944, when Captain Widnall recorded in his diary that a small number of flying bombs targeted at Southampton had fallen on the estate. However, as the Allies advanced, the V1 launching sites were quickly overrun and the threat passed.
About the V2. That's a good one.
However, still a long, hard campaign to be fought until Captain Widnall could write on Monday, May the 7th, 1945, Mr. Wayman heard the 4 p.m. news saying the German armies totally surrendered.
V-Day.
It
V-Day.
seems totally impossible to believe. I am completely humbled.
7th May. V-Day. If you like this video, please hit thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and sign in AG Evans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel and sign in to This is my friend Sparky and Jimbo on the ITF 5 thing, Sarah Hill's Radio Station show Friday, free swipe in and analog and digital at 1510, and listen to me on the last show, live with John and Matt on the Wake Race Test show, every Sunday at 9 to 12 p.m. I hope you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and sign in to my channel. Bye.